Hello and welcome to my review on the brand new 2025 6.5-foot animated Easter Bunny from Gemmy. This is sold both online and in stores through BJ's Wholesale Club, retailing for $129.99. Now, over the past several years, there's been a steady increase in the number of Easter-themed designs to come from Gemmy, yet not many have included animation. In fact, among base fans, we've gotten archways, 12-footers, even a design covered in mixed media material, all before we've gotten a new animated design. Our last and only Easter Airblown to feature movement was an online exclusive carried by Holiday Inflatable Store, a defunct retailer many collectors wish were around today. However, thankfully there are a few merchants left that know how to select the best in Gemmy's showroom, and one of them is BJ's Wholesale. The Luxe Bunny mentioned moments ago, arguably the best Easter inflatable of the modern era, was originally a BJ's item, and they followed it up with this just a few years later. Features include 4 LED C7s, fuzzy fabric covering the front part of the chick, and a bright blue egg for our bunny to pop out of. There is also a shot of what this is intended to look like once hidden inside, but we'll of course get a true idea later in the video. As we make our way to the back of the box, we are met with a real-life comparison, now showing both the height and the width, and for the first time this year, at least on this channel, we can lay our eyes on the 2025 Gemmy Industries core. I know much like me, you guys are anxious to see what else this has to offer, so without further delay, let's get it opened up. Equipped with the YEF80, I'll be honest, I was holding out hope that this would instead have a YEF 125, as there is nothing I like better than a powerful motor paired with a smaller size design. Also, typically with any animated components, the most common motor to get is a 125, but an 80 isn't bad for something this scale. Where you might, however, have an issue is when it comes to the type of base fan this has. Unfortunately, this blower does come with the non-extendable legs for the stand. You may be asking why this would be a problem, and it won't be one as long as you are careful, but they are known for being a bit flimsy and more breakable than ones with folding legs. Now, to take a look at the stake pack, it is very close to what I consider to be the basic standard, which is 4 of everything. You do end up getting 4 plastic stakes and 4 tethers, yet 5 metal base stakes, which I find kind of amusing because if there's anything you don't need extra of, it's going to be these tiny little anchors. You're probably wondering what the extra stake is for, and that is to secure the chick, as there's a loop on the bottom. Not to jump the gun, but my recommendation would be to inflate the inflatable prior to staking anything, as it's not unbalanced and can stand fine on its own, then utilize the chick's loop for making adjustments. I tried not to show or spoil too much in that, but I know we are all eager to see the whole thing, and there's still a lot left I haven't gotten to, so let's plug it in and continue with the review. Well, I was going to say this takes right around 45 seconds to inflate, which is true for the majority of the inflatable, but as you all saw, it did take the bunny an extra trip to fully rise from the egg, which was due to the timing of its animation motor. If you are not familiar with how these pop-up designs work, at least the ones from Gemmy, it's quite simple and I'll explain briefly. There is a separate blower for the entity that goes in and out of whatever the container may be. In our case, it's obviously this bright blue egg, but what will happen is it'll automatically shut on and off, thus causing the pop-up effect we see here. Gemmy has come up with many ways to animate their inflatables over time, each of which comes with their pros and cons. And when it comes to this particular mechanism, the only thing I can think that I wish was designed a little better was ensuring the part that goes in and out completely conceals itself to serve as more of a surprise. I do believe, however, that my complaint is more specifically aimed at the space allotted for a bunny to come out of. As you can see, the head of this rabbit completely fills the diameter of the egg, causing a lot of friction, and there isn't enough time for the bunny to deflate enough for it to go back in before that motor turns back on, repeating the process. I think I've made my case for the problems that have to do with the animation, but know that if you can get past those imperfections, the rest of this design is quite nice. I'll start in general terms with the overall color scheme. It's exactly what anyone would picture for an outdoor Easter decoration, with splashes of soft pink mixed throughout, a vivid blue resembling a dyed Easter egg, a pure white bunny rabbit sporting a lavender bow tie, and a chick as bright as yellow peeps. Being the only mixed media part of this inflatable, the chick really stands out in all the positive ways. It's not an unnecessary addition or seeming to be an afterthought. Rather, it serves to elevate the design as a whole. In the daytime, its fuzzy fabric catches the light, glowing beautifully in the sun. The eyes are sewn on instead of screen printed, and there's a piece of felt standing atop the head for a little something extra. Moving on to the egg, I've referenced it a bit already, but to focus strictly on its visual elements, which while fairly basic due to its size, are well done and work cohesively. Your eye is drawn to the center where you're met with the Happy Easter text, done in a fitting font. You have pink squiggle lines above and below that, and there's stitching which perhaps inadvertently adds some nice texture. Now when viewed from the side, it's a toss-up of the first thing you'll notice, which will either be that those pink details just mentioned do stop at the halfway mark, or it's going to be that the egg naturally leans back, I'd say significantly. First off, it's not a surprise those lines end early, but it would have been nice for them to go all the way around, or maybe it wouldn't have been because I, for one, wouldn't want people to see the angle this inflatable is at. I'm not sure if it's just mine or if it's how all of these have been produced. There's nothing underneath propping it up, nothing hidden in the grass, so it's really out of my control. Side note, I've also chosen not to utilize the tethers because I wanted you to see how this appears as is, and while it's a bit odd, it at least looks fine from the front. There are a couple more key points for me to get to before signing off, and one of them is how tightly this inflates. Haven't gotten to that yet, but I am very impressed with what the YEF80 has been able to do. Darn near everything feels nice and tight, and as it should, including the bunny, which as we know has a separate motor. It too gets to feel very full. Secondly, these pop-up inflatables have pretty unique locations when it comes to their zippers, some bad, some good, and the first one, which is behind the base fan, is a bad one if you ask me. Of course it's good to have, but extremely annoying to reach, and should definitely have been placed on the outside. There's two more that are found internally, with one for the bunny, and the other is directly facing it on the inner egg. And now I'll conclude my review on the new for 2025 6.5 foot animated Easter bunny from BJ's Wholesale. I would definitely recommend this as it is one of the better base fans we've gotten when it comes to Easter. It is also what that Charlie in the Box inflatable should have been. If you remember that video from late November, that was the perfect pop-up opportunity, yet it had no animation and also a cheap fan to go along with it. Thought it was kind of a shame, but back to this. A great inflatable for $130, not a bad price, yet because BJ's is known for discounting their inflatables as the season progresses, you'll likely be able to snag it for $100, maybe even $80, with plenty of time to set it up for Easter itself. The link is posted in the description. Keep your eye out on that price. Anyways, guys, until next time, I'll see you later. Peace out. Bye.